Okay, so when having this conversation about whether or not you should go to college for music, I think there's a few realities that you need to understand about the music industry. So reality number one is that a college degree guarantees you absolutely nothing in the music industry. For a minute, let's compare this to a career in the medical world. Let's say you wanted to go be a doctor, and I'm no expert on how to break into the world of being a doctor, but go with me for the purpose of this example here. Let's say you wanted to be a doctor. Well, the career path and the path of getting to being a doctor is laid out pretty clearly for you. It's a long grind of undergrad and then medical school and then residency and then fellowship. And you're going to spend 10, 12, 15 years. I don't even know how long it takes to become a doctor, but it's a long time. And you're probably going to have to take out student loans. It's going to cost you a lot of money. It's a long process. But the reason why so many people go through that long, grueling process is they know on the other side, they're more or less guaranteed a job or a clear path to a job with really good income. Doctors know that if they spend the time and money on all that education, on the other side, they can probably start at making multiple six figures a year, and over the course of their career even grow to close to 7 figures a year. But bringing this example back to the music industry literally couldn't be more opposite from this. See, whether or not you have a degree, you're guaranteed nothing on the other side of the degree. And right now I'm talking specifically to producers, songwriters, and artists. I will say that if your goal is to go rise the ranks and work in a corporate label or publishing company, a degree could maybe be helpful. But specifically, producers, songwriters, and artists, whether you have a piece of paper or a degree from an institution or not, you're guaranteed nothing on the other side. So I think that's critical for you to understand and get your head around as we continue to have this conversation. Reality number two that you have to understand in this conversation is that colleges are freaking expensive. As of the time I'm making this video, tuition for Belmont is around $40,000 a year, and tuition for Berkeley is $46,000 per year. That's tuition alone before room and board, living expenses, and housing in what's most likely going to be a really expensive city. So considering point one that we discussed a minute ago, that you're guaranteed nothing in the music industry on the other side of your college degree, I think it's imperative to ask yourself, is $200,000 worth of tuition the best use of your money for your career goals? What might it look like if you took a small fraction of that money and invested it directly in your career? If you're an artist, what would happen if you paid a producer a small fraction of that budget to give you actual songs that will count towards your career? Or if you're a producer, what if you took a small percentage of that money and got a good studio set up that you could actually start making money with? If you really want to take this further, go see what $200,000 over the course of 30 years is worth in a compound interest calculator, and then have this conversation of, is this the best use of my money or not? The final reality number three that I want you to be aware of in having this conversation and making this decision is that your work is going to be what makes or breaks your career in the music industry. As I've said a couple times now, it's not going to be a piece of paper that gets you opportunities and moves your career along. It's going to be your work, what you've done, and there's more nuances to it than that. Of course, how you treat people, your work ethic, your baseline of talent. But at the end of the day, what you do is what's going to be what opens doors for you and moves your career forward. For me as a producer and songwriter, the things that bring me new opportunities and get me work have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not I went to college. In fact, in my now 10 years of doing this professionally, I don't think anyone I've worked with has cared whether or not I went to school for music. The things that instead get me work and bring me new opportunities are my past work, my discography, my credibility, my reputation around town, how I treat people, and a number of other things like this, not the college degree. If you're an artist, your listeners are never going to ask to see your diploma. They're simply only going to care about whether or not they like your music. So again, your work is what's going to open doors for you in your career, not a college degree. So considering these few realities, it really is up to you whether or not you think college is the best path for you. There's a number of people that I actually do work alongside with here in Nashville that went to college, some of them not for music, some of them for music, and they have had successful careers in the music industry on the other side. By the same token, there's tons of people I work with that didn't go to school at all or went to some school like I did and then quit to go down this road of doing music full time. And I would say I almost on a day in, day out basis work with more successful people in that camp than folks who did go to college. But the people that I do know that went to college for music and and were successful on the other side, almost all of them would tell you, and I've had this conversation with so many of them over the years, it had very little to do with my degree. It had way more to do with what I did after I got my degree in the real world. Hey friend, Christian Hale here. Thanks so much for checking out today's video. Real quick, I actually wanted to let you know that this video is a part of a larger video, which you can find linked down in the description below or over on the end screen. So if this content was helpful and you want to go even deeper on the subject matter and see it in its full context, definitely go check out that video for more. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you real soon.